Basil Rathbone here for the BBC and London Times with an exclusive interview with the legendary actress Katherine Heartburn, who's made far too many movies to name. Miss Heartburn, how did you become an actress?
Even as a child, I had very bad heartburn and was always complaining. Mother said, "Kate, you'll be an actress."
Miss Heartburn, may I ask, how do you prepare for a role?
Oh, I don't know exactly. I work myself into a state. It doesn't take much.
I would think not. Or do you have a method?
Do you mean the actor's studio syndrome of emotional indulgence? I have a different approach. Something is always buzzing in my head, or sometimes it feels like a fly.
You've kept so busy over the years.
Basil, you can't wait for the world to come to you. You have to go out and conquer it.
Can you please tell us how you rehearse?
I'll confess. I talk to myself. All actors do, you know, in order to learn their lines. There's no other way to become proficient, a word that most people don't know. Acting requires acute listening. It's like looking in the mirror. Suddenly the character surprises you and appears.
Do you teach acting?
Martha Graham keeps asking me for acting lessons. I told her, "I'm sorry, Martha. I only tutor young actresses willing to learn the tricks of the trade."
Tricks of the trade?
The secret of speaking properly is massaging the lips. I give my students special exercises for their tongues.
I see. What was your most memorable part?
Oh, I don't know. I've played so many roles I can't remember. I must have played Queen Victoria and Joan of Arc. Movies are very glamorous, look glamorous, but behind the scenes it's very nitty-gritty. If I remember correctly, we filmed African Queen in a New Jersey swamp. Or was that on Golden Swamp? Anyway.
Did you enjoy working with Humphrey Bogart?
Oh, Bogey was all right. But his wife, with that deep voice, took after that scamp, Tallulah Bankhead, who said my voice sounds like nickels in a slot machine. Her voice sounds like Nero's busted violin torching Rome.
What roles would you like to play?
I always wanted the men's parts. Men are much more adventuresome and have more fun. Rebel without a pause and all that. That's why I've always worn pants. I mean, look what Garbo did with Queen Christina. I want to play Macbeth. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day until the last syllable of recorded time. Don't you think I'd make a good Macbeth?
Oh, most definitely, Miss Heartburn.
I hope you're not just saying that. Let Marlon or Spencer play Lady Macbeth, for heaven's sakes. A tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
You've received 4 Oscars?
Did I? Oh, now they're giving Academy Awards to people living in vans. Grunge has replaced glamour.
What is your favorite makeup?
A Camel Rouge gives me a glow. Oh, let me put on my reading glasses.
Do you watch TV?
Not if I can help it. Basil, without those laugh tracks, sitcoms would be funerals.
Do you follow politics?
Politicians are like a can of worms, worse than VD. Oh, and they make my blood curdle. If those Spitfire scallywags ever had principles, they've long flown the cuckoo's nest. Let them eat clams, for goodness sakes.
How so?
Oh, the public is willing to be hoodwinked into believing anything. When I hear politicians blabbering how 911 was planned in Afghanistan, I want to scream. That country hardly has roads. Only dimwits would believe such drivel.
I gather you're against war.
When the bomb goes off and the world is ending, people will think they're at the movies.
But what about the president?
You know, during those boring presidential congressional speeches, the poor fools have to applaud his every word when you know they can't wait to get home, get drunk, and watch porn.
Well, you might have a point there. Are you an environmentalist?
Basil, I'm even afraid to turn on the water. Oh, there's so much chlorine and chemicals in it, probably formaldehyde too.
What do you think about identity politics?
Politics are like chit-chat, which always reminds me of baboons grooming each other for fleas.
May I ask, what was your most difficult movie?
Suddenly Last Summer was the most harrowing, but my favorite role. I've never had to play a villain before. A rich, domineering, manipulative, psychotically delusional mother. Only Tennessee Williams could create such a play.
How so?
Oh, it was all too much. Homosexuality, insanity, cannibalism. Tennessee was taking too many drugs.
What about romance?
I'm so glad I never got married. You men are all alike. Oh, these safety caps are like trying to break into Fort Knox.
Do you have any advice for young actors?
I can't stand it when people say after every word. What's wrong with them? Can't they think on their feet? If people can't think of a word, they should pause. I have no patience for idiots.
Do you like going to the theatre?
The cost of a Broadway show today is criminal. $500, $2,000 and more. And as for the media, all you get today is a puny sound bite.
Is there still something you'd like to do?
Aside from playing Medea, I'd like to have my own TV talk show. I could even interview myself. After all, at 116, I've lived longer than anyone, but always get asked so many dumb questions. Have you heard those age reports that 80 is the new 20? Well then, 116 must be the new 30.
Then I haven't been born yet.
For my TV talk show, I could interview a lot of transsexuals, conspiracy crackpots, and perhaps even broadcast from a UFO crash site. That's what the public wants. Oh, my Happy Valley neighbors can be the space aliens, for heaven's sakes.
Do you believe in UFOs?
Basil, I'm too busy with my garden to worry about monsters from outer space, for heaven's sakes.
What do you think about the future?
In the future, everybody will work packing boxes at Amazon. Oh, let them eat clams, for heaven's sakes. Have I been vaccinated? Well, I'm wary of that spiky genetic stuff. I take an injection for my logorrhea. Oh, I wish there were a vaccine to prevent old age.
Do you have any advice?
Advice? If you want to get anywhere today, you have to throw it in people's faces. Speak up. The batteries in my hearing aid must be running low.
Lastly, Miss Heartburn, may I ask if you believe in the afterlife?
Well, now, you're asking a question for which there is no answer. That's the trouble with interviews. They're like inquisitions, always asking such impertinently impossible and invasive questions.
My apologies, Miss Heartburn.
You know, Basil, interviews rattle my nerves. And you've been kind to call me Miss Heartburn. In the future, please call me Kate.
I hope we might speak again, Miss Heartburn.
Now, as my phenobarbital